Elms Hollow is surrounded by a dense forest of gnarled trees covered in moss. An old legend circulated about the three sisters of the mist. It was said that they were three witches who, centuries ago, had been executed for witchcraft. The legend claimed that every October 31st, if anyone dared to enter the forest at midnight, they could hear whispers and feminine laughter among the trees. The village elders warned children not to approach the forest, but the curiosity of youth has always been a magnet for danger. That Halloween night, teenagers decided to put the legend to the test. Ethan, Carla, Luis, and Sophia met at the old abandoned house that bordered the edge of the forest. They all carried flashlights and backpacks full of supplies. Ethan proposed crossing the clearing and touching the large rock at the base of the dead tree. If they heard anything strange, they would run away. Carla was skeptical, while Sophia warned that if anything moved, she would leave with or without them. The group ventured into the forest. The sounds of nocturnal nature intensified as they progressed. Concha branches under their feet and the cawing of crows were the only sounds mixing with the murmur of the wind. But then the faint whisper slid between the trees. Carla asked if they had heard that, but Luis replied that it was just the wind, though his gaze betrayed his nervousness. The whispers became clearer. It was as if several feminine voices were murmuring about their arrival. The sharp giggles seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. After about 20 minutes of walking, they reached the clearing. There was a circle of stones covered in moss and mold. In the center of the circle, a dry, twisted tree with long, sharp branches loomed menacingly. The rock Ethan had mentioned was right at the foot of the tree, and Ethan touched the rock. Everything changed. The air became dense and heavy. A stench of rotting flesh invaded their noses, and the flashlights began to flicker. An icy wind blew from the forest, carrying with it the laughter that had previously sounded distant but now was loud and close, which proposed a deal. If they gave up one of them, the other two could leave. Carla looked at Ethan. Ethan looked at Sophia. No one said anything, but the silence spoke for them. In that instant, the witches smiled and declared that the pact was sealed. The laughter merged with the mist, and the shadows of the forest completely enveloped Ethan as Carla and Sophia ran without looking back. Carla and Sophia ran until their lungs burned and their legs felt like lead. The oppressive darkness of the forest seemed to follow them, every shadow moving unnaturally. The echoing laughter of the witches echoed faintly behind them, but it was impossible to tell how close or far away they were. When they finally stopped, gasping for breath, they found themselves in an unfamiliar part of the woods. Trees were even more twisted here, their branches forming grotesque shapes like clawed hands and faces frozen in screams. "We have to keep moving," Sophia whispered, her voice trembling. "They're not going to stop." "We can't leave Ethan," Carla said, tears streaming down her face. We can't just leave him there." "It's too late," Sophia said, clutching Carla's arm. "They'll take us too if we go back. Do you want to die here? Do you want to end up like him?" Carla fell silent, her sobs the only sound breaking the oppressive quiet of the forest. But before they could decide their next move, a chilling whisper drifted through the trees. "You can't leave." The girls froze. The whisper grew louder, turning into a chorus of voices that seemed to come from all directions. The trees began to creak and groan as if alive, their gnarled branches reaching toward the girls. A low, guttural growl emerged from the shadows, and two glowing red eyes appeared, followed by another pair and another. "Run!" Sophia screamed, yanking Carla to her feet. They sprinted through the woods, their flashlights flickering and barely illuminating the path ahead. The whispers turned to screams, and the ground beneath their feet felt as if it were shifting, trying to trap them. Carla tripped over a root and fell hard, her flashlight skidding away. Sophia turned back to help her, but what she saw made her blood run cold. The earth beneath Carla had split open, and skeletal hands were reaching out, clawing at her legs. Carla screamed, kicking desperately, but the hands were relentless. Sophia grabbed a fallen branch and swung it at the hands, breaking them apart. She pulled Carla free, and they ran again, not daring to look back. They burst out of the forest and collapsed onto the grass at the edge of the old house where their journey had begun. The night was eerily silent now, the oppressive presence of the witches gone. But the memory of Ethan and the horrors they had faced would haunt them forever. As the first rays of dawn broke over Elms Hollow, Carla and Sophia were found by a group of villagers who had formed a search party after noticing their absence. The girls tried to explain what had happened, recounting the horrors of the forest and the witches' pact. Most of the villagers dismissed their story as a fabrication born from fear, but a few of the older townfolk exchanged worried glances, muttering about the legend of the three sisters. The village elder, a woman named Agnes, pulled Carla and Sophia aside. "You saw them, didn't you? The sisters," she said gravely. When the girls nodded, Agnes sighed deeply. "The forest keeps what it claims. Ethan is lost to us now. But you must never return. The sisters demand balance. If you survived, it means they will be watching, waiting,